This episode is brought to you by Adcentricity, leaders in location-based digital media management. Visit them at www.adcentricity.com. It is time for This Week in Location-Based Marketing. On today's show, big one as always, Coke gets with Foursquare to save your parks. Listen up, folks. Finally, an app for chocolate lovers to get excited about. Plus, stories about Visa, Liveshare, Microsoft, our resource of the week, and special guest Carolyn Hodge, Chief Marketing Officer of Loc-Aid. Whew! Stick around. Big show. Welcome to episode 86 of This Week in Location-Based Marketing. My name is Rob Woodbridge from Untethered TV, also located in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Joining me, as always,
Asif Khan from the Location-Based Marketing Association.
I like that.
Can't wait to do this one, Rob.
Location-Based Marketing Association.
Location, yes.
Episode number...
We're on location right now.
We are. Well, we are doing this a little bit early. We got so much news to get through, and it's such a compressed amount of time. It's crazy what the kind of constraints that we put on ourselves. But I think that's just we have to get these shows done. That's what we have to do. We have to get these shows done, and it's chock full of stuff. In fact, we're not gonna peddle anything. We're not gonna shill anything. We're not gonna try to sell you anything. We're just gonna get right into the stories. How does that sound?
Yeah, let's hit it.
All right. As you know, we got the top 5 stories. These are the stories that happened during this week that we think are very significant, that Asif has brought to it up, and that think is very, very, very significant, that you guys should know about it. We've got our resource. We've also got our great sponsor. Sponsors back. We got our sponsor spotlight. It's Adcentricity, because they are sponsoring this thing. We love Adcentricity, adcentricity.com. We've got our product of the week, and then we've got a great number of a couple of financings and our resource of the week. So we're just going to jump right into the top 5 stories. And I wish I had a sound effect, because if I did, it would happen right here, like our first story. I know, exactly. It's terrible. Exactly. I get gonged right off the show if I wasn't hosting it. Listen, first story. We'll talk about this. Liveshare. This is a launch. This is a cross-platform texting service. I thought the texting era we were beyond that, the group texting thing. But I guess we're not.
No, I mean, this is, I thought this was kind of interesting in some respects because, we had all the group me's and, belugas and, bongos and, all these guys, a year ago that were in this space. And here we have, this is a, company that's playing in the Asian market for the most part. Their parent company, Caleris, Liveshare is the product. Caleris is backed by Kleiner Perkins and DAG Ventures and Docomo Capital. And so they got a lot of big players behind this thing. And so what this is it's a freemium platform, mobile and web, free messaging, photo sharing, all combined together. So it's kind of like a mashup of a GroupMe plus an Instagram.
Liveshare makes it easy and fun to create multiple conversations around capturing your night out with friends, keeping in touch with family, exchanging notes with your sweetheart, and coordinating weekend plans with a gang.
Texting and
everyone in the conversation can add their...
So anyways, could be challenging to build this, but maybe in the Asian market you can pull this off.
Yeah, right behind you that you don't see, Asif, is a video of this thing playing. But yeah, this is one of those things that we've already got these everywhere, and we kind of went through this a year ago, South by Southwest, around, as you said, the Bongos and the GroupMe. So I think it's interesting. Now the big thing about this is traction. How do you get enough people to use this across all these platforms? What I love about this though, man, is the web version of it. I'm dying. I use Text Plus on my iPhone to interact with everybody. But I'm dying for a web-based version, and I know that iMessage is coming out with one in the next operating system. Yeah. But when I spend a lot of time on my desktop doing this stuff. I don't want to do it on my phone while I'm sitting on my desktop.
Yeah,
right?
and that's a good a good piece of this. And I suspect based on who these guys are, who's behind them, the kind of capital and partnerships that they have. I know Singtel is involved. And one of the Japanese carriers. So, in terms of traction, to your point, if you start rolling this out through the carriers, okay, I think, at least you have a potential customer base already built in, as opposed to going and trying to build this on your own like a GroupMe type of model. So.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of give the advantage to folks like Facebook, and they've come out with their own messaging app because they have the audience that is already willing and able and ready for this kind of stuff and already using
there
it.
You go.
So Liveshare, and
yeah.
I think if you just go to liveshare.com, you will see that video that was playing in the background of Asif, and you can also find more information and start using it. What? Go ahead, use it. I dare you. Let us know what you think on tether@gmail.com. Second story here, as we're cruising. It's like a land speed record for the first story. It's bound to happen when credit card companies like Visa get engaged with on the ground folks like Telefonica Digital. This is a good relationship. They've already had a relationship, but they're partnering a little bit deeper with Telefonica. I like this play.
Yeah, I like it as well. I think it makes sense for credit card companies to partner with carriers in this way around mobile payments. What I don't understand, because I'm not a carrier, nor am I a credit card company.
But I do accept donations.
Is when you look at different sort of national jurisdictions in the U.S., you have the ISIS project going on with the carriers. In Canada, we have the Canadian carriers coming together. In the U.K., you have Project Oscar, which is the same thing with the U.K. carriers. You have all of this going on between cross-carrier collaboration around mobile payments offerings. And then in parallel, you have, partnerships between carriers and credit card operators. So at some point, you can't run them all. You got to think, So I get the idea. We're testing in parallel and we're trying different things. That makes sense. But at some point, one of them is gonna win out as your standardized payment, vehicle. And in some respects, from the Visa side of things, I get it because MasterCard announced last week that they partnered with Deutsche Telekom. So Visa responds by saying, we partner with Telefonica. So, you got the two biggest groups over there, working with credit card companies. Telefonica has 103 million customers, across all of their networks. So
it seems like a natural fit for these guys to get together. But it's much more. Could this be the credit card companies protecting their turf? Because we still wonder what's going to happen here in Canada. We got Rogers that has become a bank, or has applied to become a chartered bank in Canada.
Yep.
And you start to see this is that we've talked about this so many times, Asif. Who owns the customer? The credit card companies and the carriers. Nobody else. Nobody else has such an intimate relationship.
And we've said it a billion times, and I think it's proving out that way. And these guys they're going to try all kinds of different things. Last week we talked about PlaceCast, their new sort of mobile wallet offering, or their HTML5 based sort of API wallet platform. I actually spoke with Alistair, the CEO, earlier this week about it to get a little more details around it. And I asked him, I said, Visa just announced this partnership with Telefonica, and you guys are the key platform behind O2's system in the UK, one of the Telefonica group of companies. I said, what does this mean for your wallet solution? And he's like, no, it's not competitive. We're still powering these things in the back end, and these things are all going to run in parallel, and we're going to see that. I think it's going to continue that way.
It's funny. It's funny, isn't it? Because when if you overlaid a map of all of the relationships and all of the different partnerships that have happened about this would be about as confusing as can be. And for somebody, it's very clear. And if you are that somebody out there, please, we'd love to have you on the show as a guest to clarify this whole process. Because I don't see a lot of people fighting for my wallet. And when I look inside my wallet, I have standardized items like a driver's license, a debit card, and a couple of credit cards. Yeah, right. And that's not complicated to me. But this seems very complicated, and I'm in the middle of this industry.
Yeah. Anyhow, we continue to watch and see what's going on, and we'll continue to report on it on the show. And there's lots of activity. I'm not sure the consumers are there yet, but there's certainly lots of activity within the businesses that have a stake in this. So.
Well, I'm with you on this. As soon as it becomes not complex and behind the scenes, and then consumers will start to care about it. So that's Visa Europe partnering with Telefonica Digital. So very cool. Third story. So what do you get when you take a successful social media campaign around this guy called Paul McCartney, left-handed guitar playing for the Beatles, right? Last surviving beetle, isn't he? And then you've got this company called Foursquare and this Uber brand called Coca-Cola and a whole bunch of national parks. You got this, right?
Yeah, you got this, which is called "America Is Your Park." Is this campaign? I actually like this. As you know, I'm not the biggest proponent of some of the campaigns that Foursquare does. I like the platform itself. I use it. I check in with it all the time. But it's these kinds of campaigns that I think will start to get the real sort of average consumer on board. When you can start to tie it to Coke, I don't know what percentage of the population drinks Coke or some Coke product, but I'm sure it's pretty high. It's that kind of sort of basic staples that when you can connect to those kinds of brands, you can start to drive real adoption. And when you connect it to charity and you connect it to sort of social good, it's even more powerful. People really want to do this kind of thing. So. Basically what they're saying is this campaign is running right now. It goes until the 15th of July. And so they're basically, Coke saying, use Foursquare, check into your favorite local, state, or national park. And the check-in basically equates to a vote in a contest, for basically a public park winning a $100,000 grant from Coke. So the idea is that the more check-ins that a particular park gets, the better chances you have of winning the prize for that particular park. And there's 100,000 first prize, 50,000 second prize, 25,000 third prize. And you can also vote online, so it's not just through the app. You can go to a website and vote as well.
Yeah, they're doing it through Facebook. I just pulled it up a little bit there. But one of the interesting things that they're doing here is they're fixing a higher value of a check-in than a traditional vote. So you get 100 votes, the equivalent to 100 votes for a check-in with Foursquare, which is pretty cool.
That's right.
Because, it's the same thing around customer service, is that when I'm standing in line at a counter, don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. I'm more valuable than that person on the phone. Don't pick up the phone. Right? I'm in the store, and it's the same thing with this. Sure. So I like that.
And it's a good move for Foursquare in terms of, growing that user base, in terms of optics. I actually wonder whether Coke is, what kind of process they went through to decide to partner with Foursquare on this. Because Foursquare's sitting there with 20-something million users. Coke has 45 million fans on their Facebook page. 45 million fans on their Facebook page. And every one of those people is going to now know, who Foursquare is.
So who pays who?
Whether they actually use it, that's a different story. Yeah. But you got to think there's going to be a significant bump off of a campaign like this for Foursquare.
Well, Coke to me is a sleeper. You check on Tether.tv because there's a couple of videos up there on Coke. I just think that what they have is a completely different way of thinking about this mobile technology and the way that they use this mobile technology. Well, people are checking in and offering free dog food or cat food. I mean, Coke is looking at their vending machines as distribution vehicles for digital software and MP3, music files, and they just have a different way of thinking. And I love Coke for this. I don't drink the product, but I have a huge amount of respect for the way that they've actually the way they're thinking about their infrastructure, like phone booths of yore, right? These Coke machines are distribution hubs, and they can be if they're outfitted properly. And I think that what these guys do is a good lesson in retail, smart retail. Gotta love them.
Yeah. Anyways, good job. I really like it, and I think it's going to drive some results for everybody involved.
And it does good for the parks. So I think that's one of the best things as well. And right now, I had a leaderboard up there, and the leading park is Pratt Park, with about 500,000 more votes than Krull Park. And then in last place on this, in 25th place, is Shelby Bottoms Park and Nature Center. So let's go Shelby Bottoms, okay?
Yeah.
Let's go Shelby Bottoms. Shelby Bottoms. Sweet. All right. That's it. Coke, partnering with Foursquare. All right, our fourth story. This is augmented reality heaven. This company called Holition, working with Georg Jensen on a line of jewelry, but using gesture-based mechanisms to be able to build that jewelry through a screen. Did a really terrible job there describing it.
It's kind of interesting. So this is a guy that, sort of designs jewelry, custom stuff, all kinds of interesting things. And effectively, what they've done is they put giant digital screen inside of the store. Consumers can walk up to these things and select jewelry by sort of hand wave, using sort of Microsoft Connect type of technology. A little bit of sort of Minority Report type of thing in this context. So using hand gesture to select particular bands, select the metals, select the colors, the diamonds that you want, sizes, etc. So you're doing all of this through sort of hand gesture to create the combination of the particular piece that you want. Personally, I think that it's a bit of overkill, for something like this.
You stole my thunder.
Oh, sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
No. I'm with you on that. Overkill is like a low end of the scale word that I would use for this, right? It's it's something like 4,000 options that you can choose from while you're standing there. You can only interact with one customer at a time. It's technology for technology's sake. It's a cool idea. Got him a bunch of press. But I think probably more frustration than it's worth, and especially if it's in store. Like if it's at home and you distribute this and the ability to do this at home, maybe that's cool. But I think this is just throwing tech for tech's sake.
Yeah, I mean, I see the application. I love what Holition does as a company, and this sort of idea of gesture-based selection of items and sort of customization of whatever it is you want. I'm not sure that it works in this context of retail, this kind of retail. Yeah. But anyhow, well, it's cool. It's really
very cool.
It's very cool, but I wonder what the numbers will be like on this one in terms of how many people actually go through this process. As cool as it is, how many people actually do this? I can't think the numbers are going to be huge, but anyways.
No, and you've always got to look at the
but
cost.
I like that they're trying.
Yeah.
I like that they're experimenting.
I'm with you. I do as well. And but you've always got to look at this at the cost, the cost of actually implementing this, and then deploying it, and then seeing the difference between what you would typically sell versus what this actually brings in. Who knows? It'll draw people to a store, but if it's not in your neighborhood, you're not going to be able to find it. So
sure.
Holition Georg Jensen, go check it out. I threw a small picture up on the screen, but just do a search for them. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. No problem. So, Asif, you like chocolate, buddy?
I do like chocolate.
I don't know anybody.
I love chocolate.
I don't know anybody who really doesn't love chocolate. My kids do.
I'm a big Cadbury guy. I don't know.
You're a big Cadbury guy?
Yeah, I love Cadbury.
I like caramel. I like the milk. Like I just every once in a while having a good piece of chocolate, small but a good piece of chocolate.
Yeah,
really good. So, chocolate lovers rejoice, right? Choco-locate. Come on, best name on the planet. This is finally a reason for chocolate lovers around the world, well, in Toronto, chocolate lovers to be able to go out and spend some money on a smartphone because you are never too far from a piece of chocolate.
You're never too far from finding good chocolate when you need it, based on your location. And effectively that's what this is. This is an iPhone app. From a Toronto company, actually, and it's interesting. I mean, so basically, if you run a chocolate shop, you can list your business in this thing. Listings are free. If you want to, them to kind of feature you or do something like that, you can pay to be featured in the system. So there is a revenue model associated with this for the guys doing the app. So I like that. I like anybody who's got revenue models is a good thing. Right now it's apparently Toronto and surrounding area, Ottawa, Rob, you could try this thing out, buddy.
I'm about to.
Vancouver and Seattle. So it's kind of interesting what they're doing. They've got city tourism groups working with them, culinary groups working with them. It's kind of interesting. So if you want to do a chocolate tasting or paired with wine event or something, you can have that event listed in here, and they charge for event services as well. So there seems to be some revenue models built into this thing, and
I love
there seems
that.
to be people using it.
Well, this is one of those things that I love the idea, like a wine and chocolate pairing, event. I'm just doing a search for Ottawa here. Is that we've got they got a great website where it has all this, and they actually have Ottawa-based. I didn't know there were so many chocolate shops in Ottawa.
There you go.
It's like two pages.
Now you know where you're going to go to buy some stuff for your wife. Come anniversary day.
Well, I mean, I typically do that at this place called Loblaws, right? I just Hershey Kisses, right? That's chocolate.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you want.
Anyhow, I mean,
Choco-locate.
I'll check it out. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. Built by a good friend of mine, actually. As I was reading, I had no idea that he was doing this stuff. So a guy named Lee Dale, he's one of the founders of a company called Say Yeah, a local agency here in Toronto, where I am. Great guys. I mean, these guys really know what they're doing when it comes to sort of UX and design principles and things like that. So I'm not surprised to see something like this.
But, well, they head to Choco. That's CHOCO-locate. Like exactly as it sounds, like locate.com. Choco-locate.com. Go Toronto, go Canada. I'm going to get them on for Untether.tv. You can be damn sure about that. If you're listening about this, reach out. Let's get you on for a long-form interview. We'll talk about chocolate for an hour. Forget about mobile. Those are the 5 stories. You know what? If again, I keep saying this. If those aren't the stories that you want to hear, it's your fault, right? You didn't reach out to us. Yep. You didn't let us know. So reach out untether@gmail.com or reach out at asif@thelbma.com. We've had some great feedback email. Our Finnish approach last week resonated obviously very well. And we're going to have some follow-on interviews with some of the guests there because they love what we're doing. And if you do, let us know.
Yeah, we really appreciate the feedback. By the way, if you watch this or listen to this during the week, please send us a tweet, send us an email. Yeah. We got great feedback this week from Grafty. We heard from Point. As well.
Yep.
A number of so
yep. Yeah. So that's why we do this. We love promoting the industry, and part of promoting this industry is making sure that you know about these companies that are that we love and that love sponsoring us. And today, our sponsor spotlight is on our good friends at Adcentricity. Boy, I'm happy that we had them on as a guest last week. Really ecstatic to have them on as a sponsor for the next month, and we're just going to do a little bit of feature on what Adcentricity does, and I think that for this one we're really going to focus on really about the challenges of digital out of home and multiple screens and planning and deploying. This is a big challenge for a lot of these companies, and this is where Adcentricity really shines.
Yeah. So when you think about digital out of home today and combining that with location-based services, the big challenge in the industry that I see out there is that if you're a brand or if you're an advertiser and you're creating content to place on whatever ad networks are out there or whatever digital screen networks are out there, the challenge is that there's so many different formats, there's so many different screen sizes, there's so many different venues, location or digital out of home networks. You got healthcare networks, you've got retail networks, you've got stuff in the hospitals, you got stuff in car dealerships, you got all these different networks all over the place with digital screens, and it's very difficult for brands and advertisers to figure out what is the right network for me and that meets the target audience that I'm trying to get, that meets the demographic that I want, that meets the locations that I want, where I might have product close by that they can consume. So these things are very challenging, and it's a very difficult exercise for people to understand how to plan, for media that way and how to buy media that way. And I think that's a huge challenge in this sort of digital out of home world today. If you're out there, if you're in this space, if you're thinking digital out of home as a media that you should be leveraging, take a look at Adcentricity, take a look at their Ad Central platform in particular. This is all about venue management, and audience targeting, based on locations. So, check them out.
Adcentricity.com. We thank them for their sponsorship. We thank them for their support and their contribution. And for you guys out there, by supporting them, you are supporting us. So please reach out. Go to adcentricity.com. All right. That is our sponsor spotlight this week, Adcentricity, adcentricity.com. Now, we're going to jump right into our product of the week. Our interview today is actually with Carolyn Hodge, who's the Chief Marketing Officer for Loc-Aid. And Asif sat down with her earlier this week to have a good conversation.
Well, today it's my pleasure to be sitting down with Carolyn Hodge, Chief Marketing Officer for Loc-Aid. Carolyn, welcome to This Week in Location-Based Marketing. It's great to have our members come on and share with people.
Thanks, Asif. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So why don't we get right into it? Why don't you tell our audience, a little bit about, who is Loc-Aid? What are you guys all about? What are you trying to do?
Right. So just to describe what Loc-Aid does, we're a location as a service provider. We provide location coordinates, geofencing, and permission-based marketing services to some of the leading location-based marketing agencies like Placecast, HipCricket, Vibes, and iLoop. And our platform, which is a privacy-protected location platform for network location, reaches over 350 million devices. We can reach any mobile phone, any type of device that's connected to a network. No app is necessary to download. And so what we do is we provide an API to developers to be able to with the mobile device number, get the location coordinates of a particular subscriber.
Fantastic. So, why are you guys addressing this issue? I mean, and what I like about it, first of all, before we go there, is I love that you're a B2B player in this space. What I call a B2B player. You're not out trying to get every consumer on your platform directly. You're not building apps, like Foursquare and all this kind of stuff. You're enabling others to be successful in leveraging location data, through the tools that you have. But what prompted you guys to do this? Was there some problem you were trying to solve in the marketplace? Was there a big gap that wasn't touched?
Sure. So the main problem is that, and this still exists, is that if you build an app or you're trying to reach, a customer base, those customers can be on multiple types of devices, and they may be on different carriers. And so the location service that we provide is a network location service. And what we've done is we've aggregated the location from all of the different carriers. So you can get a location on a subscriber for AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and in Canada we work with Bell and some of the other Canadian service providers. So what we did was we made it possible for you to reach your entire customer base. That was the problem that we solved. And we continue to build the reach in terms of how many devices and subscribers you can reach, but we also continue to offer new types of location. So handset-based location and network location. Okay.
And so, again, in terms of our audience that might be listening to this right now, who you're trying to reach, like who's the potential customer for you besides the carriers and folks like that? I mean,
Sure.
Is it app developers? Is it, what's the right target?
Thanks for asking. Sorry to cut you off.
It's okay.
Our typical customers that are relevant to your audience are the marketing agencies. So, our key agencies are, like I mentioned before, Placecast, HipCricket, Vibes, iLoop, Sumo Text, and these are all agencies that can provide services to, the marketers who may be watching this podcast right now, and they can help set up the location-based campaigns, SMS campaigns, geofencing, etc. We're really providing a service to them and to the big brand marketers who have their own platforms, who want to add location as one of the demographics for creating and segmenting campaigns.
Great. And so lastly, just to wrap up here, I mean, as we look into the future a little bit, we think maybe 12 to 18 months out, not too far out, but, what can we expect, around carrier and network-based location, what should people be looking for, whether specifically from, Loc-Aid or generally in the marketplace, where do you see, network and carrier location going?
Right. Well, I mean, first off, just to set the kind of the expectation here, in the past 12 months, we've seen a 10 times increase in the amount of transactions that are going across our platform for SMS marketing and other type of marketing campaigns, specifically just in the marketing segment. And I think those have been early adopters. So my impression and what I think is going to happen is we're going to see that, go up again another 10 times. You're going to see a lot more location-based marketing happening, a lot more marketers going to these agencies and saying they want to start doing the location-based marketing campaigns. My hope is we'll see a lot more metrics in the market that will show us about the ROI about campaigns and how effective it can be. That's from the marketing side of the equation. From the network side of the equation, I think we're going to see new pricing that's going to help make this a much more attractive offer for marketers to start to employ as one of their tools. And then the other thing that's happening is the technology is not really there yet for doing persistent location campaigns for geofencing, and I think we're working on with some of our partners handset location technology that can help you actually execute the kinds of geofencing campaigns that people want to do. Right. And so I think that's going to be a big change that's going to happen, and that will be combined with network location. So our vision of the future is you as a platform can make a decision about what kind of location you need to use, whether it's network or handset or Wi-Fi or sensor-based, if you happen to be a retail establishment that may have a Wi-Fi or sensor ability. So I think there's going to be a lot of new types of location. There's going to be more people using it. It's going to increase in popularity, and so I think the LBMA will definitely be playing a great role in educating all these new marketers and new location-based marketers.
Thanks. Well, it's great to sit down with our members like this and hear directly from you about where the vision's going. So I really thank you for your time. Again, for our audience, we've been sitting down today with Carolyn Hodge, Chief Marketing Officer for Loc-Aid. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us on This Week in Location-Based Marketing.
Thanks, Asif.
Yes, so that was Carolyn Hodge. We're really appreciative of Loc-Aid, giving us their time and sharing with us. It's great when we can get LBMA members on the show like that and hearing directly from them, about what they're doing and that whole space of sort of network and carrier-based location. To our earlier comments when we were talking about Telefonica, this really is, in my view, in the end, going to be about, a big part of it is going to be driven by the carrier. And so it's companies like Loc-Aid that are enabling carriers, with technology that are, I think, going to be, successful in the long run. So thanks to them. Thanks to Carolyn. Thanks to Loc-Aid.
Absolutely. Thank you, Carolyn, for being a part of that. Really appreciate all of you guys. If you want to be on here, reach out, untitled@gmail.com. If you think you have the chops to go a one-on-one with Asif or myself, this is the place to do it. Asif at the LBMA or untitled@gmail.com. All right, now it's time for a little bit of funding. One acquisition, two fundings. The first one, really simple. Again, if I had a sound effect, you'd hear like change jingling in my pocket or something like that, because that's what this is all about. It's about the money. First one, you might have seen it. I pulled up a screen and it had a banner ad with a Shopify. It had a website with a Shopify banner ad on it, and it's called retargeting. I was just at the Shopify website previously today, and now they're retargeting me. And this is a company called AdRoll that does retargeting, location-aware retargeting. They closed a little bit of money.
Yeah, so they announced $15 million in new funding. This is the second round for them. And it's coming it's being led by a group called Foundation Capital, with participation from their previous investors, which is Excel and Maris. And Yeah, so this is significant amount of capital for a retargeting player, and I think these guys, they're one of the big players in the industry. So I think this whole retargeting space is a space that is just poised for growth right now. This idea of sort of detecting where somebody is, and sensing a bunch of data about them, and then retargeting the ad based on that data. So. Yeah.
There's going to be a big mobile play here for sure at some point, but in talking with the Shopify guys around their banner placement, display placement strategy, these guys understand it. Everybody says, "Oh, you must be spending millions of dollars in banner ad buys," and there's like, no, it's all retargeting. It's all retargeting. It's a very effective way. So it's really simple. The process is you land on a website, you don't fulfill the transaction that is desired. Guess what starts popping up on all these other websites? The banner ad of the website that you had just didn't finish that transaction. So
it makes sense, right? And to some extent, what I'd like to see is an evolution of retargeting into other media. So we just talked about Adcentricity and digital out of home. Imagine retargeting in digital signage.
Yep.
Right, and there's a few guys looking at that space right now, and I think that's an area where we're going to see growth as well. So, anyways, AdRoll, $15 million.
Big buy, big spend.
Yeah.
All right, second story. This is an interesting one because of what Microsoft once called the Surface, which was the Microsoft Surface, which was this big. I saw it at O'Reilly's, one of the O'Reilly's conference when they unveiled it a number of years ago. It was a big Surface, and it was basically a pane of glass with a computer behind it that did hand gestures, and now everybody's got it because of the iPad and iPhone and all the other tablets. Then they came out with something called the Surface, right? And now they've gone out and bought this company called Perceptive Pixel. I have a video here that I'm going to just roll because I think it kind of it's full credit goes to All Things D. This is their video, and I'm only going to play a little bit, but it's a demonstration from about a year or so ago of Perceptive Pixel running Windows 8 in the background, and I'm just going to play it. We'll see where it goes. I'll cut it off so we don't watch the whole thing. But here is Perceptive Pixel. And their Microsoft, maybe an early indication of the interest from Microsoft. Here it is.
I'm Ina Fried with All Things Digital. I'm here with Mike Angelou, who heads up a lot of the Windows hardware work with different manufacturers. And we're here with what might be the largest Windows PC out there.
Maybe it's certainly the largest piece of optically bonded Gorilla Glass on a capacitive touchscreen. This is the 82-inch Perceptive Pixel Incorporated touchscreen, and this is running Windows 8. So what I showed here was the same fast and fluid Windows environment on a screen that's running 100 points of touch simultaneously. You can have 100 simultaneous touch points. And what's really cool about this screen is the optical bonding puts the layer of touch very, very close. So there's no parallax. There's no sense that I'm touching something that's further away than the screen. It feels like I'm manipulating the screen directly.
So the same kind of touch experience you would get with a phone, you're getting on an 82-inch screen.
It's pretty cool. I mean, when you start to talk about a capacitive touchscreen with 100 touch points, all in a big screen, you can see the evolution of this. And Microsoft went out and bought these guys.
Yeah, I really like this. I think this is a good move for Microsoft moving into this space. Kind of puts them, clearly, a solution like this is an enterprise solution. This is not, you're not going to have this in your home.
Not yet.
Not yet. On a smaller scale, yes, but not yet. And these guys have been around for a while. Perceptive Pixel, they founded in 2006. The technology, that big screen, that big wall. With multi-touch, CNN has been using it. We saw it during the U.S. Election in 2008. That was what you saw. Every time you were watching CNN in the background, where they were popping up results by state and marking up with pens and all that kind of stuff.
It's pretty cool.
Perceptive Pixel's technology that was doing that. So now Microsoft's got that. So good for them.
I'm really interested about this, and certainly Microsoft is right in this now. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but good on them for doing this. Now they got the Surface and they've got a real Surface, the Perceptive Pixel, being purchased by Microsoft. I didn't see any terms on that. Pretty sure it's not small, but that's good. All right, our last funding story. This is a little company called Pocket Change got a little bit more pocket change as a result of Google Ventures, them putting in a little bit of money. What is Pocket Change?
Pocket Change is interesting. It's a virtual currency platform for Android games. And so obviously it makes sense that Google would get involved since it's Android. So they got $5 million from Google Ventures. It's a Series A for them. And there's a few others involved in this. First Round Capital, Scott Bannister as an individual, Baroda Ventures as well, and Joe Kraus is joining the board, as well as Mike Jones, who's the former CEO of MySpace. So I guess people do have a life after MySpace, apparently. But anyhow.
They view their mission as being they want to build the world's first universal virtual currency. Now, Bitcoin was in there, right, as a virtual currency. And this is a pretty ambitious thing to be able to do. And this is I can understand that they're not going to do it with just $5 million in funding. This is
and they had 1.4 before, so six and a half almost in total. Yeah. By the way, the company was renamed. It used to be called Lunch Money. Now it's called Pocket Change. So if you've heard of Lunch Money, it's the same company. So
which is better, Lunch Money or Pocket Change? Which sounds more?
I like Pocket Change.
You do or you don't?
I do. Yeah. I think it's a better name.
Yeah. I like it as well. And the analogy as anybody in media, it's like Pocket Change feels a little bit more Pocket Change for Pocket Change. It's just you can play with it so much better. Anyways, they raised $5 million. Google, I like these little bets by Google. But it's always interesting to me is that Google, as they get into the wallets, why aren't they doing this themselves? Are they going to integrate this into the Google Wallet? Is this part of that play? Is this just a test? And is it just more cost effective for them to spend $5 million and invest in this to see what flourishes? And then if it does, then they can bring it into the Google Wallet, because eventually it has to end up there in order for it to be effective. So, Pocket Change.
There you go.
Get some Pocket Change from Google Ventures. Those are two funding stories and an acquisition. I think that my favorite story is the Perceptive Pixel story in there. I think that's it's pretty cool technology. I wonder what they're going to do with it. But if you have any idea, let us know. Also, if you think you should have been in there, again, your fault. You didn't get in touch with us. Reach out on untethered@gmail.com or Asif at the LBMA. We'll put your story right in there. We'll take all the other stories out and just put yours in there if you let us know. Please. And while we're at it, before we get into the resource, you have to do two things for me. One of them, if you have a comment about the show and you'd love to be on the show, send us a video. That means upload it to YouTube or your video provider, and offer us a comment. If you just want to do audio, the same thing. Throw it up somewhere. Send me a link. We will play it on the show as long as it is not as profanity-laced as you want it to be. If you're angry with us, reach out. We can take it. We will not censor these things. We will put them up as they are. We just got roasted around the whole point bankruptcy issue. Because the media is calling it bankruptcy. That's what we're doing. So if you have a comment, reach out to that. The second thing I'd love you to do, please, 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 please. If you are listening to this and you're this far into the show, you obviously love the show. Go out to iTunes right now. Subscribe to the podcast. You'll get it a little bit early. But more than that, please just give us a 5-star rating on that thing. Leave us a good comment. We'd love to increase awareness about this because it's an industry that we're very passionate about. And we have a great following. We'd love to expand that following so that people learn from it. And also, it's a great way for you to find out about new companies. I had a Twitter post that came out this week where somebody found out about Adcentricity because of the podcast, and that's what we want to do. So please get onto iTunes, give it a 5-star rating, give it a review, and then we would love you forever. Those are the only two things that we ask. That's it. Or send us lots of money. So you can either send us money or you can do those two things. All right, Asif, the resource of the week. Hey, look at this. Retailers very interested in going local, go local technology. This is a no-brainer?
It is a no-brainer. So this is a new study. They surveyed 500 retailers in the U.S. It's from CompTIA. And some great data in here. I mean, obviously we deal with lots of retailers at the LBMA, and retailers are talking and seeking information about location-based stuff, and now we've got some data to back it up. So basically, they found that 21% of the respondents are already using geolocation services such as Foursquare, and another 28% plan to do so very soon. We've done similar studies at the LBMA and saw similar numbers to this, about 20% adoption so far, and another 30 to 35% in our cases that are planning to do so in the next 6 months. So, I concur with this data. So this is great to see that the retailers are kind of getting on board with it.
It's very important. It's very important. But you also can't forget the out-of-home stuff, right? Driving people that are not just local,
right,
but within a proximity. And also, you cannot forget the couch. Couch is a very important place. You got to get people off the couch to purchase. So there's also got to be that strategy, three-pronged approach. But local is very, very important. That was on internetretailer.com.
Yes.
So if you just do a Google search or a search of your preference, whatever search engine you do use, retailers want to go local with technology, or you can just go to www.internetretailer.com and do a little search there. It will come up with all those great statistics. Yes, I love these resources because it makes me think a little bit deeper about what it is how my patterns are affected by this technology. And great data as usual. And that's it.
Excellent.
That is it. Land speed record. We would love to hear from you, as we keep saying throughout this whole thing. If you have any comments, suggestions, criticisms, if you want us to add a section, remove a section, we may not do it, but it would help if you would respond. Let us know. We've had some great comments, and they keep coming a little bit more every week, and it's something that we really, really, really thrive on this. This is 86 episodes. We are now like 14 away from 100.
I know, it's crazy.
My math.
We're gonna have a big party.
We should do this live in Toronto. That's what we should be doing. We should do our 100th episode live somewhere at an LBMA event or something to that extent.
Okay.
We'll just start planning that. Come on.
Let's get on it.
We'll do it at the next Untethered Talks. All right. If you think you should be on the show, if you think you have a product or a service, or you've been funded, or you have an important story, reach out. Let us know, untether@gmail.com. Add us on Twitter, that's at Rob Woodbridge, or at Asif Arkan. Let us know, and we keep saying this, we will, if it's timely, if it's in the space, it happened in the last week, we will bring attention to it. If it's a resource that you want us to feature, we will bring attention to it anytime. So please, 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 please reach out and let us know. And that is it for episode number 86. Episode number 86 done. Asif, any final parting words?
No, just I'm heading out on holiday, so looking forward to getting a little break. And don't worry, we'll still be doing the show next week. So I'll be doing this live from the golf course next week.
Bermuda shorts and shirts all around.
There you go. But anyhow, love doing this show. Love kind of staying on top of what's going on and tracking these companies down. So anyhow. Keep the comments coming. Keep it positive, negative, whatever you got. We want to hear it.
Yep, absolutely. And for those of you who go to untether.tv, there's a great interview. I actually got to sit down with Asif for 5 minutes and talk about his presentation that he did at Untethered Talks. It is a great conversation as usual, but we are live in the same spot, which is very unique. So go and take a look at that. But I guess we'll see you next week for episode number 87 from the golf course.
There you go.
Asif, enjoy your first week of vacation. Thank you guys for watching.
Cheers.
We'll see you next time.